Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled, Bride Wants Deadbeat Dad to Walk Her Down the Aisle. Stepfather's Response Leaves Family in Shock. And guys, this story is about a guy who pretty much is your classic pushover, doormat, nice guy, beta male provider type who at some point 10 years ago or something got together with this woman who already had a daughter, and he, just like the typical nice guys that think that they finally got the girl that wouldn't give them the time of day when they were younger, this guy does the classic thing where pretty much he gives the girlfriend, the mother of this child, and the child everything. And this guy, you're going to see the girl. He took care of the girl, brought the girlfriend, the girlfriend and the daughter to live with him, raised her, and he's obviously paying for everything. He paid for her college, he paid for her car, all these things, and now she's going to get married, and he's paying for the whole wedding. Meanwhile, this is not his daughter, and he's not even married to the mother. And meanwhile, the girl's real father, the baby daddy, he's never around, never pays a damn dime, and now this girl wants the baby daddy, who's a total scumbag, to walk her down the aisle, and other forms of disrespect to this guy. And this guy, you're going to see what happens here. You're going to hear this story from this guy's point of view and see what this guy does. And it's a great ending when you see a guy finally grow a pair and dish it out to people that have been taking advantage of him. And guys, I remember this article is a few years old. I didn't dig in to see how old it is, but I remember this very well because this particular story is what led me down the path to eventually starting this channel. It's one of the many things that contributed me starting this channel and talking about what I talk about. Because the way this guy's taken advantage of is just unbelievable. But there are guys out there that just don't get it. And one of the lessons of this story is, guys, and I'm going to talk more about it at length at the end of the story, is basically if you're a guy that didn't have a lot of women pay a lot of attention to you in your teens and 20s and all that, but now that you're in your 30s, and you got a job, you got some resources, and now women that didn't really pay attention to you back then are, you got to be careful because there are a lot of women that are predators, and they're going to seek out guys like this guy in this story that clearly would be more than happy to take them in because he thinks he's finally got that girl. You know, after all these years, when the girls wouldn't pay attention to him, now he's got them, right? Like what they show in the movies and TV. In actuality, these women spend their prime, their teens and their 20s, riding the carousel, hooking up and dating all the bad boys, and eventually realizing that the bad boys either A, don't want them anymore because they've gotten older, probably hitting 30, early 30s, or they realize that the bad boys aren't going to be the type of guy that's going to get them the house in the suburbs with the white picket fence and provide. So they go for the nice guy, the beta male provider as they're called. And because they know these guys are a sure thing. They know that these guys will take them in a heartbeat and they don't have to do a whole lot and they'll typically marry them and they can milk them for everything it's worth. Am I saying that all women do this? No, but a lot do. And this is a perfect example. So guys, you got to be aware of this. If you are guys that obviously weren't exactly James Bond growing up, but now you got women paying attention to you, and you're not exactly, if you can be honest with yourself, exactly a ladies' man, you got to pay attention. You got to be aware that this could happen, and I don't want to see it happen to you. But anyhow, guys, I'm going to go through this story, and I'll get more into detail about that at the end. Very important lesson here. So it starts off, the stepfather, who was more of a real parent than her biological father could ever hope to be, wrote about his experience in a post on Reddit. It says here, my stepdaughter will be getting married on August 3rd. The wedding planning has consumed most of her and her mother's life. I say her mother because we aren't married, though we lived together for 10 years. And he says this has been occupying her time for the last 6 months. My stepdaughter graduated last December from university. I paid for her to go to college, though it was a state school. It still ran $40,000. She does not have a job and has been living with us for the duration of her college career and since her graduation. I also bought her a car to get back and forth from school when she finished high school. So, what do we have here? So far, this guy, he seems like he's being a really good guy to his girlfriend and her daughter, which isn't his stepdaughter technically because he never married the mother. He's been providing for them and her. She's been living in his house. He paid her college. He bought her a car. She doesn't have a job. Big surprise there. He's still paying for everything. Now, you would think in a perfect world that the girlfriend and her daughter, who he calls his stepdaughter to make things easy, would be extremely grateful and respectful to him for all these kind gestures that he's done, right? You would think that. No, it doesn't work that way. And you're going to see more as I go on here. From time to time, her deadbeat father would pop into her life and she would fawn all over him. Although he has not contributed a cent to her education or paid any child support, though that is my girlfriend's fault, as child support was not part of the settlement, she still loves him and wants him in her life. He stays long enough to break her heart by skipping town and breaking some promise that he made her. Translation, this young girl, this guy's stepdaughter as he calls her, has daddy issues. And probably the same crap that he's doing to his daughter is the same crap that he probably did to the mother. And I'm willing to bet you that the mother, the girlfriend of this guy telling the story, some part of her is probably still in love with him. It's insane, but that's how a lot of women can operate. This guy, whatever it was he did, whatever the thing about him, he's got her soul, and he's got the daughter. And so typically, guys, I tell you guys to watch out for girls with daddy issues. Okay, they may, for you older guys, they may be fun to hook up with, but they got a lot of fucking problems. Okay, and for you relationship guys, do not get involved. Don't give your hearts away or go falling in love with girls with daddy issues, because it's going to be your nature probably to treat them well. And they're not used to being treated well. So when you treat a girl with major daddy issues, a girl whose father always let her down and all that, she's going to see your kindness and you treating her like a human being as weakness, because in her mind, she isn't worth anything. She's garbage, because her own father wouldn't love her own father wouldn't be there for her, so there must be something wrong with her. So any guy that actually treats her well, there's something wrong with him. Therefore, she loses respect for them and treats them like crap, and goes for the guys that treat her in the same manner that her father did. How do I know this? Because after 43 years on this planet, I've seen this lots and lots of times, okay? And I've made the mistake of falling for a girl that had daddy issues and was attracted to guys that treat him like crap when I was younger. And the same damn thing happened. And I know a couple of women right now that are in their mid-40s, and they still have issues that their dads did to them when they were young, because the dads weren't in the picture and didn't really give a crap about them. They're screwed up, okay? So avoid them like the plague. Anyhow, need to point that out. He goes on, the wedding venue holds 250 people max. I gave them a list of 20 people that I wanted invited. You know, since I was paying for everything. They told me there was no problem and they'd take care of it. This is the girlfriend and her daughter. So I let these people know they'd be getting an invite and they should save the date. On Saturday, I saw one of my friends on this list at the golf course and asked if he was coming. He told me that he wasn't invited. He told me that he got an announcement, but not an invitation. He had it in the back seat of his car, along with probably 6 months of mail, and showed it to me. Sure enough, it was just an announcement, and my name was nowhere on it. It had her dad's name and her mom's name, and not mine. Interesting. This led to a pretty big fight with my girlfriend, as I found out that none of my list of 20 people made the cut for the final guest list, because 250 people is very tight. 250 people to a wedding is huge. I was pissed, but not a hell of a lot I could do, because the important people in my life had already been offended. My girlfriend said if some people didn't RSVP, yes, I might be able to get a couple people in. She's got some nerve. But this is an ultimate slap in the face, in my opinion, so I was boiling on Saturday. Do not tell me that he doesn't have any control over this. This guy's paying for the whole damn wedding. And this goes to show you how much of a piece of crap his girlfriend and daughter, her daughter, are, because this guy has done all these things for her, which I read earlier. This guy's paying for the wedding, and out of the 250 people, which is a huge wedding, by the way, he wanted to have 20 people. That's less than 10% come to the wedding. He wanted invites to them, and these assholes that he's with didn't send them at all. And now she says, oh, well, maybe some people cancel, then we can squeeze them in. Are you kidding me, lady? But, guys, understand this. When women treat a man that way, It is only because, well, number one, they're assholes to begin with, don't get me wrong, but it's because the guy acts so weak. He acts like such a doormat that he invites that treatment. That is why, guys, I tell you all the time, you must have self-respect for yourselves. If somebody mistreats you in any way, takes advantage of you, you call them on their crap. Or, even better yet, you boot them out of your life. But this guy, like I told you about the whole beta male provider thing, this woman saw him as an easy, guaranteed thing, okay? I guarantee you, she hardly hooks up with this dude at all. And if she does, he is getting the bare minimum. The absolute bare minimum boring sex possible just to keep him in line. Because, again, she didn't even marry him. And he's doing all these things, and she isn't even married him. It isn't a legal partnership or arrangement with the government involved. No ring. And still she can get this guy to do everything. What does it say about him? Right? It's obvious. So I don't want you guys to ever turn out that way. Or if you are that way, I want you to turn shit around quickly so you don't get taken advantage like this. And again, she, the girlfriend, and the daughter are assholes. Just don't get me wrong. They're predators and they're leeches and all that. But this guy invites his bad behavior. And I guarantee the entire duration of their relationship, he was a doormat and was taken advantage of. She doesn't respect this guy or love him. He goes on, yesterday we had a Sunday dinner with the future in-laws, family, and yes, a surprise guest, the real dad. At this little dinner, my stepdaughter announced that her real dad was going to be able to make it to her wedding and that now he'd be able to give her away. This was greeted with a chorus of, oh, how great and how wonderful. Talk about a smack in the face to this guy. I don't think I ever felt so angry and so disrespected. I was shaking. I took a few seconds to gather my composure because I honestly wasn't sure if I would cry or start throwing punches or both. Once I was sure I'd be able to speak, I got up from my chair and I said, I'd like to make a toast. I can't remember exactly what I said, but the gist of it was like this. He says, I'd like to make a toast. The sound of spoons against glasses ring in my ears. It has been my great pleasure to be part of this family for the past 10 years. Aw, how sweet. At this point in my life, I feel I owe a debt of gratitude to the bride and groom because they have opened my eyes to something very important. Confident smiles exchanged. They have shown me that my position in this family is not what I once thought it was. And now a glimmer of confusion and shock begins to spread on the faces in the room. Though I once thought of myself as the patriarch or godfather of the family, commanding great respect. Who the hell is he kidding here? Commanding great respect, my ass. Commanding great respect and sought out for times of need, it seems instead that I hold the position of an ATM. Good for a stream of money, but not much else. As I have been replaced as host both on the invitations and in the ceremony. I am resigning my financial duties as host to my successor, Real Dad. So cheers to the happy couple and the path they have chosen. I finished my drink. You all can let yourselves out. Damn. Well, it took this guy forever, but he finally grew a pair. But again, the disrespect that this guy was getting after all this stuff he's done for him, and now Deadbeat Dad shows up, the former bad boy or current bad boy daddy, and the daughter, who thinks this guy's the king, even though he's garbage and he's not there for her and all that, she wants him to walk her down the aisle. And this guy, that's it, he's had it. Good for him. He goes on, is this selfish? I'm supposed to shell out 40 or 50 grand for a wedding that I can't invite anyone to, that I'm not a part of. I'm so done with this crap. I'm done with my stepdaughter. I'm done with my girlfriend. Now listen to this. I transferred the money out of our joint account last night. She has not had a job since she moved in with me. This morning I called all vendors I had written checks for the deposits to refund my money. At present, it looks like I'll lose about $1,500 for the venue, but the other vendors have been great about refunding. So, he has a joint bank account with his girlfriend. She can take whatever she wants out of that because her name's on the account. She's not even his wife. So again, this goes back to the fact that how much of obviously a doormat, a pushover this guy is, and completely clueless that he let this woman have access to those resources with her name on the account. She could bleed it dry and take off for the hills. But good for him for cutting her off the damn joint account. But still, the fact that he did this, what does it say, guys? What does it say? And the fact that he also mentioned that she hasn't had a job since she moved in with him. Again, beta male provider with the resources. I can't stress that enough, guys, that you don't become this guy. It goes on. His story quickly went viral, and readers across the globe wanted to know what happened next. The fed-up father returned with an update. He says the immediate aftermath was tantrum and people sitting there mumbling while not actually saying anything to me, but to each other. After much yelling with the girlfriend about me being selfish, I spent the night in my home office and no one knocked on my door, not once. Today's aftermath is kind of depressing for me. Girlfriend brought me the bride's wedding planner to show me how much work I was ruining. I thumbed through it, found a page in the music section for father-daughter dances. All the songs were catered to the real dad's taste. So I thought they were just being disrespectful, but now I'm feeling like they never really gave a crap at all, especially since the menu included 2 ingredients I'm allergic to. That actually made me laugh. Again, more with the disrespect. And no, dude, they do not give a crap about this guy at all. He is a meal ticket, he is an ATM machine, nothing more. Again, and I guarantee that the guy this girl's probably marrying, he's probably kind of that's tough. Either he's like the father. No, I'm going to rephrase it. He's probably like the stepfather that probably she's going to milk him for what he's worth, but she's probably banging Chad or Tyrone on the side because she's going to be attracted to a guy like her dad, guaranteed there. But this goes to show you. He says, either way, I'm glad to be done. Returned the planner and asked her when she and the bride could move out. Also, I never promised to pay for the wedding. I offered them the use of my home when they were sure it was going to be small. But other than that, all I've heard now is that the bride's family should pay. So let it be the bride's family then, aka not me. Girlfriend and the bride are now moved out. His girlfriend and his stepdaughter. Girlfriend and the bride are now moved out. They are moving in with the groom. It was very hard not to be petty with some of the belongings they took with them, but it's done. And I switched out the locks, and now it's time for a brew. I can't believe how popular this story got, but I feel good to be given support by so many. If I find out what happens with the wedding, I will let you know. But I can't guarantee that I will put in the effort to find out. From what I've heard, they are trying to scale things back and get his parents to help out. So they've left. So he booted them out of the house. Good for this guy. And now they moved in. The girlfriend, the woman that was his girlfriend, and her daughter have moved in with the guy that this girl is going to marry. In other words, what I think is actually pretty accurate, she's probably marrying a dude like her stepfather. Okay, now they'll leech off him and leech off his family. See what I'm talking about? He says that the girlfriend burned bridges when I found out that she tried to write herself a check on our joint account the day after the unpleasantness. By then, I'd already moved out the money, so I guess I'm a bigger ass than her. But I could feel it coming. That's all. Thanks. So there you go, guys. I mean, that is an extreme example, but like I told in the beginning of the video, you got to be careful. Okay. Now, like I said, if you're a guy that's in your 30s, because guys in their 20s. Men, when they get to be in their 30s and 40s and they get their shit together, they've got maturity, they've got resources, a job, and things like that, that's generally where our prime really begins. Our prime is not in our teens and 20s. A guy's sexual prime, in terms of the sexual prime is peak in the teens and all that, but in terms of like his prime, in terms of how he's found attracted by women and desired by women, is a guy in his 30s and 40s because of all the resources he has. He's gotten obviously a lot more mature, learned how to handle himself and so forth and all that, But a woman's prime is in her teens and 20s. But a guy that gets to his 30s and all of a sudden, like I said, women really wouldn't pay much attention to him when he was younger. Let's just say he would have the occasional girlfriend, but women, he wasn't ever considered to be a ladies' man, and the women that he liked never went for him. If all of a sudden he gets to his 30s and women that never gave him the time of day are now starting to show interest in him, this guy has to be very, very careful, because it's possible these women could be just like this, the women that were once highly desired by the high-value men and the bad boys. They've run their course. They've gotten older. They maybe have a kid, maybe two, and now they're looking to shack up with a guy that will see them as a great catch, and they can milk him for what it's worth in varying degrees. That's what happens. So any of you guys watching this right now are in your early 30s and you're starting to get things together, and you're starting to notice that women that wouldn't have given you the time of day before are paying attention to you, particularly women that are in their 30s, not the women in their 20s, when they are pretty much on the decline. Be very careful. I'm telling you that right now. Do not get into relationships with these types. Be very careful. If you want to hook up with them, date them for a while and hook up with them and just let it run its course, be my guest. But in terms of getting relationships and marriages, And again, this is for guys that are in your 30s. You're starting to get resources, but you're still not considered to be, high value. And it's very hard for a guy to own up to the fact that, I'm not exactly a high value guy. I got some things, but I'm not. On the other hand, if you are a high value guy, if back in the day in your teens and 20s, girls weren't giving you the time of day, but you got your shit together, you worked very hard to get your body in good shape, that you're looking really good in good shape, you dress well, you got a nice car, you worked hard to get a good position in your company, or you started your own business, you're making a lot of money, you're doing well for yourself, and now because of that hard work, you elevate yourself as a high status guy, and you don't just have women that are attracted to you in their 30s, you got women that are attracted to you that are in their 20s in their prime. Then that's different, because then you're not perceived completely as the dorky dad or the easy guarantee thing like the guy I mentioned earlier. That's different. You still be careful, but it is a different situation. All right? But remember, guys, you're going to have predators out there all the time. They're going to try to go for you for your resources. Just be careful. Do not end up like this guy. This is why it's so important, guys, that you have self-respect, that you don't allow to be taken advantage of by anybody. Otherwise, you will. And there's a whole world of predators out there that will do it, guaranteed, like this guy. But thank the Lord, this guy finally, after all this shit, finally said, that's it. It took all that crap for him to do it, but he did it. And she's out of the picture. Now, hopefully this guy will learn his lesson and not let the same thing happen. Who knows? It could take guys into their 50s or 60s to really get the point. But, I'm going to guess probably the guy had to be at least in his 40s at this point. So who the hell knows? But just be careful, gentlemen, because there's plenty that will be willing to take advantage of you. You understand this, you have this knowledge, nobody's going to take advantage of you, and you can have a good time and have fun, okay? And you see any of those types coming after you, you can either just never give them the time of day, or you can have your fun with them and toss their ass to the side of the road when you're done. It's up to you. Anyhow, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.